apply the Stephanie. Take your band and notice that there's an indentation. This goes around the ear, so make sure that that indentation goes in front so that it can drape around the ear, okay? So this elastic is only there to serve as your placeholder. It keeps the band in place while you are sewing it in. Before you used to have to clip in the band, so now it just stays in place. It's got an elastic band down here and it's got an elastic band up in the front to hold it around the ears so that you can have free hands to do other important things. This slit here allows you to adjust the weave buddy the way you want it. The main thing you want to do is to make sure that both sides are even in the back. So now that we know that these two sides are even here, we're going to go ahead, we're going to pull the skins down so that you can see this area, okay? Take your needle and thread, curved needle and thread, and you're going to start in the middle area, right? In this area here. Notice that there are grooves here. Those grooves allow you to close it together so that there are no bubbles. So go ahead and get started in the middle. Attach it to the middle braid. See how easy that is? Dun, 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 dun. So now you're going to continue to sew it downward, making sure that it stays on the braid that is behind the ear. If your client like this model does not have any hair right there, but if there were hair right there, you'd be using your protective paddle. Every time you order a weave buddy, a protective paddle comes along with it. Keep them because you're gonna need them for a client who has fine edges here. The main thing that the protective paddles work for is that you don't want to sew the client's fine, delicate hair onto the weave buddy here. You only want to sew the weave buddy onto the healthy braid, and the healthy braids are usually behind the ear, behind the hairline. So we don't want to sew on to the fine baby hairs that are around in the front hairline area. So the protective paddle keeps you from doing that. This part of the weave buddy has to be sewn right on top of the last braid that goes all the way around the circumference. What I like to do first real quick before I sew is just take the net that goes with it. Take the net and just gently attach it onto the second braid like this. So now you are ready to actually sew the weave buddy onto the braid. Notice the little hearts that we have designed onto the bottom part of the weave buddy. The hearts are just a symbol showing that your clients, that you care. And when we designed it, it's showing showing everyone that we care. They're made with love, and you're applying them with love. So it's a love thing, guys. And see, the way that I have designed the weave buddy to have all of the indentions and slits and everything is so that when you're sewing, you could see what you're doing. You could see where you're sewing. And you have space to sew on it. Now here, we're going to go ahead and close this slit so that it could be more firm and it stays in place, doesn't move around. See that? So it's staying in place. All of the indentions and the grooves, all of those spaces work together so that it could mold onto your client's scalp and just become part of them and be comfortable. So that side is done. Once we do the other side, then we'll go ahead and trim off these bands. Those bands are there just to help you hold the weave buddy together. So now we've done the front side, we're going to do the other side now. Once we do both sides, then we're going to close these slits so that it can mold even more onto your client's scalp. Purposes, just in case your client does have baby hair here, let's go ahead and clip the protective paddle into place to protect your client. Then we'll go ahead and continue to attach the top part of the weave buddy onto the crown area, and then it will then be, you will continue going downward. Let's bring the camera up here so you can see. See, so this part, these grooves here, once we come back, once we're done closing all the, once we are done attaching the weave buddy around the healthy braids, then what we're gonna do is go back and close these little slits. What that does is it keeps it from bulging. Okay, so let's go ahead. Don't worry about how this bends right now. This is, again, this is made this way so that it can form and take the shape of your client's hairline. So now what we're gonna do again is attach the lace of the back wing part around so that it could start taking form. Unfortunately, the heads of these models that I use are a little smaller. Actually, the bands are super firm on the client's head, but a little bit loose on the doll heads. I should have them customized and made small, shouldn't I? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and start attaching it. Attaching the weave buddy onto the braid. First we did onto the lace, and now you are attaching it to the actual braid and the weave buddy. unfortunate. Now go ahead and attach the band onto the braid. The band. You did the silk first, and now you're attaching the wing, the bottom part of the weave buddy, to the corner, to the ends of the, the main cord braid that goes around the circumference. Come back up, and if you want to go ahead and attach it onto whatever strong braids that you see here. So you're not going to go in front where the hairline is. Your only attachment is on the strong braids behind the ear. Now go ahead and close up the slits. Again, if you have hair there, make sure you have your protective paddle. The protective paddle makes sure that when you're using the protective paddle, it keeps you from accidentally sewing onto their fine little hairs that are in the front. Just keeps their braids nice and protected under there. And what you are doing now is you're starting to shape the weave buddy onto the shape of their scalp. We're not done. We're still going to close this one and this one. And we're going to do that on both sides. And that is what keeps the weave buddy so strong and in place, is closing up these slits, making sure that we keep the paddle under there so that you don't get their fine baby hair. If you have their hair braided under there, you just want to make sure that that hair is protected and that it doesn't get sewn on. Continue sewing. Continue closing those slits, ladies and gentlemen, so that you can create a very firm fitting style, so that you can create a very firm fitting attachment. I don't know, I'm going to erase all that. Notice is that as we close the slits, we are making it nice and tug for the client. They will be able to wear their weaves without worrying that it's going to pull back. See, this is nice and sturdy, okay, and still very breathable. That is very important. So now you can remove the elastic from here and go on to the other side, closing the slits over here. And I want to go ahead and make sure that this one is going to be closed. And the one that is on top. I'm going to show you guys the top area. What this does is it closes the top so that it doesn't buckle. The weave buddy, when I first designed it, used to buckle right at the top So these slits, when you close them, keeps the top from buckling, and it just gives it a real nice firm fit. Let's go ahead and remove the elastic band from here and from here. Now what I would like is to make sure that, see this part? It's still a little loose. So we're gonna tighten that up so it could be nice and firm against her scalp. Making sure that your protective paddle is in, you want to take the lace and firm it. You want to take the lace and just close it up very gently. Don't pull too tight because the lace can tear. But what you're doing now is you're just adjusting it so that it can fit. Everyone's head is different. Some people's are going to fit right off the bat. Some people will have to adjust because, you know, just depending on the size of the head. The goal is to make sure that it's nice and flat and that it fits real tug and real firm. Okay, so now I've just made this real nice and firm. Oh, all right, guys, let's sew in that closure. The most wonderful part about the Weave Buddy is that when you are applying the closure, you are not applying it on to the client's delicate braids. You are applying it onto the corner of the Weave Buddy. The Weave Buddy will actually take on all of that extra pressure that you would normally put on the client's braids. So how cool is that? No more pulling, no more tugging. So all of this precise kind of work that has to be done is done on the Weave Buddy, okay? It's not done on the client's scalp or their delicate braids. So go ahead and sew it all the way across and make sure that you see on this side. We have plenty of slits for you to put the needle through and make sure that you see where the needle's going. We've got the protective paddle so that you don't accidentally sew on the client's delicate hair underneath. So you've got all of your precautions. You've got all of your protection to create a fabulous, full, healthy weave. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and go to the other side. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the other side and get the corner of the closure onto this side of the Weave Buddy right here at the corner. Stretch it out. So we have stretched out the distance of the opening of the Stephanie here to match 4-inch difference for 4-inch closures. So if you're using 5-inch closures, you got to make sure that the short side of this, that you start here on this side first, because you're going to be stretching it over there on the full side. You're going to be stretching that extra inch over. Do you know what I mean? So if you have a 5-inch closure, start at the short side where the opening is. Wherever the opening is, start on the short side, okay? Don't start on the long side like I did with this, because with the 4-inch closures you can, because that's what the size of the opening is. But if you have a 5-inch closure, you want to start first on this side. You guys, if you hear little feet, those are my doggies protecting me. Okay. See how nice and sturdy that is? Do not close the back part until you first attach the front part of the closure, okay? So now we're here. We've done both sides. We're gonna let this go. Do not close it up back there yet. Now we're gonna tackle the front. We're gonna go to the front. You see how here in the front, we've got we've got the skins. So we wanna make sure that the weave buddy is in front of the skins, right? So bring it forward, have your client help you hold it, okay? I don't have a client helping me hold it, so what I'm going to do is create my own. Making sure that you have your protective paddle, go ahead and go in to start at the corner and sew in the closure onto the silk lace, okay? The way you do this is by doing the underneath knotting method. Go under the silk lace and then go ahead and make a little knot. See that? Go underneath the silk lace again, making sure. Oh. That's why you want to keep your protective paddle under here, because you want to make sure that you don't. I chose a really bad needle here. You want to make sure that you are not going to poke your client's head. So this protective paddle will help you. Two things: you will be able to sew your little invisible knots, okay, and then you're also gonna not poke your clients. See, because you're grabbing that lace that's underneath, that's what you're attaching this to. Make sure that your client is holding on to that hair. Making that invisible knot. Take the two, gently tug like that. We're almost done. Scoot your protective paddle as you work downward. You do not want to sew on, accidentally sew onto your client's delicate edges. So you're using the paddle so that you're not sewing onto the client's natural hair. All you're doing is grabbing the lace that has been prepared on the weave buddy. Underneath the skins, there's lace. And you want to make sure that this closure gets attached to that lace. Okay? And we are done. Now let's see what it looks like without all of the pins and stuff. Oops. So this is what your closure should be doing. It's nice and firm. And then you just go ahead and trim off your little lace right there, okay? You can also use that lace for any other purpose that you want. You can put some baby hairs on that. You know, if you want to use, you know, the glue on the skin, not on the hair, but on the skin, you can also use that lace for that. Do not glue anything onto your own natural hair. The whole purpose of the weave buddy is to grow back. This part right here is moving a little. So what I'm gonna do is take the same technique that I did when I first attached the weave buddy, is that you're going to take the part that's kind of loose and tug it. You see that? Just tug it. And now, I mean, everyone knows that when you're applying closures, there's going to be some little loose areas. But the great part about the weave buddy is that you get to tighten those loose areas without hurting the client, because the weave buddy doesn't feel a thing, okay? So now we've got this nice attachment, and there's no glue and there's no tape on the client's scalp. Look at that, you see that? Okay, so there's the first part of applying the Stephanie. We will see you soon.